Welcome, everybody. My name is Mariceli Vargas, and I'm the Director of Student Life and Activities here at Central Texas College. I am excited today to have you all on board for our new student orientation. I have been talking to some of our participants here in our WebEx meeting, and I am really happy to see that everybody is very prepared and ready to start their college and school year. If you are joining us through Facebook, please go ahead and type any questions that you might have into the chat box. We will definitely be addressing those in a little bit. But now I just want to make sure that everybody understands kind of what the plan is for today. So I have a little PowerPoint I'm going to share with all of you. Make sure that you guys are ready and excited for the new day, the new semester. I know a lot of things are happening that are going to be a little bit different than what you may be used to, and we totally get that. But we're able to still, even with all the craziness happening in this world, we're still able to make it happen for you. So welcome to our new student orientation. So today the plan is to have a quick welcome. We're going to have the Eagle Mail video. We're going to have a Blackboard overview by the faculty. And those of you that don't know what Blackboard is, it is actually how we are going to be able to, access most of your classes. For most of you, that's how you're going to access your classes. And so that's definitely the way to go, because a lot of you are brand new and you're not going to know necessarily how things are going to work. That's why I have asked the faculty, and they have been super gracious in allowing you to actually understand how that works. So I get to say hi to you again. This is my name is Mariceli Vargas. I'm the Director of Student Life and Activities. Part of what I do is make sure that orientation is good and ready to go, and that you are all ready for this new school year. So I hope you are ready and that you're excited about the possibilities. If you can't remember but one thing about anything and everything that we're going to be doing now, is that what I want you to remember is to ask questions. If you have really, good questions can take you a long way. And I want to make sure that you know that I am a resource for you. If I don't know it, I will definitely make sure to find the answer for you. So we're going to talk about Eagle Mail and why it's so important. And in this instance, I am going to do a quick introduction here to Professor Lyle. He is one of our math instructors, and he'll be talking a little bit later, but he is definitely one of the most passionate individuals that I have ever met when it comes to how important email is. And he is so passionate about everything that he does that I really want to ask him to tell you a little bit about why, for a faculty member, it's important that you check your Eagle Mail.
Okay,
Professor, there?
I am. I had to unmute myself. All right, so email. Every one of you, when you register as a student at CTC, you're given a CTC email account. Please check it. I'm telling you this as one of your instructors, maybe not your specific instructor, but this is a way that not just your teachers, but financial aid, registration, academic advising, anybody related to the college, this is how they try to communicate with you. Think of it kind of like a job. If you have a job and you have an email address with that job, you want to check your job's email address, because that's how work people are going to communicate with you. You can set up your student email address to forward to a different email address if you would rather, but however you want it to look, it's not hard to set up. She's going to show you some stuff here in just a minute, and please be checking it, especially since we're doing this live stream version of our classes. You need to know what's the link to connect to your class so you can participate. You need to make sure you're paying attention to announcements that your instructors might be sending out to you. Maybe reminders about due dates or however this is going to look. It's how you interact with people to make your college classes go smoother. So please, please, please check your email. That's what I have to say.
All right, thank you, Professor Lyles. Yes, I am trying to get my YouTube working, my YouTube video, but basically what Professor Lyles has just mentioned is the most important thing. And I know a lot of you might be like, well, how do I get a hold of it? And how do I do that? You should have received originally an email that would when you applied, you should have gotten an email to your personal email that you use to apply instructions for it. But that may have happened a little while ago, and that may not be what you remember. It's been a minute. So what we want to do is make sure that you have the opportunity of checking again. I'll show you if I can't get the YouTube to work. I will go ahead and show you where everything is located. But we want to make sure that you check your emails constantly. And if you know you're not going to be able to check your email constantly, we definitely want you to be checking, forwarding it to the email that you're going to check constantly. I know it can be a little bit overwhelming to have multiple emails, but we want to make sure that you are able to get all that information, especially if you're waiting for assistance with financial aid or your faculty member. That's going to be really tough for you to tell your faculty member, well, I didn't know, or I didn't get the message. That's not going to work really well for them. So make sure that you do that. All right, so I think I got the video going. Yes.
Can I say something real quick as you're getting ready to transition there? You can also set up your email to check it from your telephone. Most people carry these things in their pocket. Anytime you get a message, you can have it configured to notify you so that you're like, oh, I need to look. And there it is. So there's no reason not to be aware of what's going on in your class. So just wanted to say that.
Yes. All right, so everybody should be able to see my video on YouTube. All right, I'm about to hit go. Let's see. I will tell you right now. All right, so let's stop sharing real quick. I hope that is going to help you figure out a little bit more about your email, but if it doesn't, if you need more assistance, just go to the CTC page and type in Eagle Mail in the search bar, and you're going to be able to find it as well. Okay, so now I am going to ask that Dr. Angela Reese joins us and kind of explains why it's so important to what is Blackboard and why it's so important to you as a student, especially right now where so many of the things everything pretty much that we're doing, almost everything I should say, is going online. So take it away, Dr. Reese.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Marcelli. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. As Marcelli said, I'm going to be talking to you about Blackboard. Some of you might not have ever heard of it, except in the chat where some people are talking about the ability to download the app onto your phone. Blackboard is basically a classroom. It is something that you do virtually, and as she said, a lot of our courses have moved to a format to where you have to use Blackboard. In the past, if you took a lecture course, meaning you came to campus, then you didn't necessarily have to use Blackboard, but pretty much every single course now will be going through Blackboard in some capacity. Even if you're taking a blended course, meaning you come to campus a few days, which we don't have that many of those for the fall semester, but there are a few that we do have, you will also likely have this Blackboard component. So regardless of what program you're in, you're definitely going to want to pay attention to the next few minutes on how to get to Blackboard. How do I get around it? What does it look like? How do I log in? So I'm going to go through each of those things and make sure if I go too fast or if you have a question I don't answer, make sure to put that in the chat box. Everyone basically on here that is a faculty or staff member at CTC has been kind of monitoring these. We know we have some unanswered questions and we'll come back to those. But for now, let's look at Blackboard. Again, this is our online classroom. So how do you get there? Let me share my screen. Give me just 1 second to do that. Marcella, will you let me know when it pops up? Marcella, you're muted. Can you see my screen? Can you see my screen?
No.
No. Okay. Thank you. Let me try again. Sorry about that.
It was trying to share, but it didn't.
It was trying to.
Yes, now I see myself.
Okay, I see some people are saying they see it. Okay, lots of people are saying we see it now.
Yeah,
I'm still, I don't see it yet.
Okay, well, let's give it just.
I don't see the black. Until I see myself, so it seems like you're sharing the presentation.
Oh, I see. Okay, hang on, let me try again. Can you see? What do you see now?
Yeah, much better.
There we go. Yes. Okay, fantastic. Sorry about that. All right, so where I am right now, I am just at the CTC homepage. So if you haven't visited this just yet, it's very easy to find. It's ctcd.edu. So again, that is our homepage. How do you get to Blackboard? There are several different ways to get there. One of the easiest for me, because my mouse doesn't always work, just like I want it to, is if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you will see down here our quick links and our resources. And right here, toward the bottom of the quick links, you will see Blackboard. So you will click that. And once you are here, let me go ahead and delete all of this so you can see what it looks like when you arrive for the first time. I would just save this as one of your favorites. That way you can go straight here, because if the website is down for any time period, which happens every once in a while, then this way you still have Blackboard saved as one of your favorites. So here is the access that you will enter your username and your password. If you don't know what your username and password are just yet, no worries. Down here, it's going to tell you how to log in and also how to look up your username if you don't already know it. So let's look at login instructions. So you'll click on that and you can see here that we have 24-hour support. So if you're somebody who has an extremely busy day, you work full time, you have kids, you have a lot of responsibilities, and you come on Blackboard maybe at 2 a.m. and you can't get a hold of your professor and you have a problem. Here is information with a phone number to where you can call and get support for any issues that you're having with Blackboard. As you scroll down a little bit further, you can see how to log in. It tells you that your username is going to be a lowercase c. It has to be lowercase. And then your 7-digit CTC ID number. If you don't know that, I'll show you how to find that in just a moment. And then your password is going to be your birthday. It is going to be in 2-digit format, month, day, year. So that's going to be 6 digits. So let's go back to the previous screen here with Blackboard. And now I'm going to click on Blackboard username lookup, meaning you don't know what your ID is. So we're going to click on that, and then you will enter the information that's requested, and then it's going to tell you what your ID is. So once you have all that, you can come back here, enter your information, and then click log in. Now I'm going to go ahead and show you one that I am already in. So just give me 1 second so I can show you what it looks like when you first log in. All right, so this is, once I were to put in my information, this is what you will see. Yours might be arranged just a little bit differently because obviously you are not a faculty member, so I have faculty resources. You will have some student resources. So what you're gonna want to do is scroll until you see My Courses. As you can see here, I have a list of all of the courses that I am signed up to teach all semester long. So you will see something similar to this as it gets closer to the start date, which today is Thursday. So by this afternoon, you might start being able to access these courses. If you don't have it today, don't worry. Oftentimes, new students, it doesn't show up until Friday. But by Friday afternoon, you should have a list of your courses and be able to access them. So let's look at my lecture course, which right now we don't really have lecture courses. We have the blended, as I mentioned, to where you can come to class some on campus, and then you also will be doing some things in Blackboard. So my class is actually set up as SVL, Synchronous Virtual Learning. And so what that means is this course in WebAdvisor is set up from 9 to 10:20 a.m. every Monday and Wednesday. So my students will meet me in Blackboard, and I'll show you how to do that as well, from 9 a.m. to 10:20 on Mondays and Wednesdays. So instead of coming to campus, they will use their computers and they will access class that way. So right here, what you see is, now you won't have this banner at the top that says student preview mode on. That's just me as an instructor logging in as a student. But the rest of it you will see on this left-hand side, basically is your navigation tree to where you can go to different things in Blackboard. Most of our courses are set up fairly common. Most departments have them set up exactly the same. So what you will see when you first log into most of your classes are announcements. Professor Lyles was talking about that a few minutes ago. So what you'll want to do is the first time you log in, always check new announcements. So make sure that you read through everything that your instructors have. There's that Eagle Mail again. If you forget by the time you access Blackboard, there's links for that. And there's just important information. As a semester starts, this is where I will post important things about class. On the left-hand side of the screen, one of the things that you can get started with right now are getting familiar with Blackboard and getting familiar with some of our requirements. So just getting comfortable with it. So if you have never heard of Blackboard before and just are really overwhelmed and maybe nervous about it, click on Start Here. On the left-hand side, it's at the top of all your classes. And this is basic information that's the same in all of our courses. It includes your resources, how to check your grades, how to communicate, information about scholastic honesty, disability support, and the list just goes on and on. I'm not going to read all of that to you, but that's something that you can do to get started and really start feeling comfortable. Below that are announcements. I showed you that already. Now this next area, this Collaborate online meeting location, that's what I named it. Some of your instructors might have it named Blackboard Collaborate. Some might have Meet Here. So just look to see what your instructors have listed for you if you're taking a class that requires you to meet in Blackboard at a specific time. Below that, we have messages, and on messages, that's how you can communicate with anybody in the class. I'm not going to click on any of those so that I don't show you any names, but you could create a message here. This is your inbox. This is your sent box. So you can contact any of the students in your class or your instructor. Your instructor information is typically following that to where you can learn about their office hours, how to contact them, what their email and phone numbers both are, as well as their supervisors should you need that. Now, this next area that I'm going to show you is what most of us feel are probably the most important part of Blackboard, or really any course. That's going to be the syllabus. The syllabus basically is your roadmap to success. This is what to expect in the course. This shows your learning outcomes. It shows when things are due, what assignments you have. It is just the place to go to for answers that you may have, excuse me, questions that you may have about the course. So syllabus page 1 is typically general information about that specific course. So we've got information about the learning outcomes, your course materials. If you haven't bought your books yet, you'll notice here that this one is an OER, meaning it's free, a free book. Our IP policy for the entire college, frequently asked questions that I have in my classes. So I try to answer a lot of those things here. You can see there are a lot of them. But one thing I really want to draw your attention to is down here at the bottom of syllabus page 1, you will see new student orientation presentation for DEETS, Distance Education and Education Technology. And you can click on this link here, and then you can watch an orientation basically of Blackboard. So if this little 10-minute presentation I'm doing isn't enough for you, then you can go and view that presentation as well. I'm going to scroll back to the top. Sorry if I went too fast there. And I'm going to click on syllabus page 2. This is where you see detailed information about this specific course. So for my course, you can see that it's a 16-week course, that I do require students to come to my real-time virtual class. And then it tells them when to arrive, when it's going to open so that they can access it at a certain time. And then you'll see the assignments and course schedule. This is something that I typically tell students to print out. Of course, you don't have to, but this is just something to guide you along. I'm personally somebody who likes to feel accomplished, and I like to cross things out or check or highlight. And so this just kind of gives you that roadmap to success. Following that, you have exam information, and then, of course, how do I get that A? Well, this will show you how you get that A and what points you have to have in order to be able to earn that A. So these 2 pages, and some instructors do have a 3rd page for their syllabus, are very important. Following that, we're going to go to our lessons. Now, before I go to lessons, I inadvertently skipped something that I really wanted to show you, and that's this Biosig ID enrollment toward the top. All of our classes that use Blackboard have to have this Biosig component. What this does is it verifies your identity. So if you haven't heard of this before, let me just show it to you. Again, I won't read it to you, but this shows you what it is. It gives you an enrollment video on how to go through the process of setting it up. Once you set it up, you don't have to worry about that again. It's a one-time setup. And then from there, once your password is ready and created, then you are able to actually go in and start using it. So let me show you what it looks like, how to use it. So what I mean by using Biosig is I have my lessons hidden from my students until they prove that they are who they say they were. So this lesson verification, you'll click on it, and the same thing will happen when you go to test on your exams. You'll have to go through the same process. So this is what I'll see. I've created mine. I did it several years ago. I haven't ever changed it, and mine's very simple. I would not suggest doing anything complicated because you'll get very frustrated in trying to set it up. See, and you can use my same password. It basically goes through the process of you creating it versus even if we all have the exact same password, it's how you create those strokes. And you'll do that with your mouse. Now you can see that now that I have verified my Biosig, now I can see everything. I can see the syllabus quiz. I can see all of the lessons, which break down the components of my class per chapter. So you can just see that now I am able to see all of those things. The rest is going to be a little bit different for each class that you take. So again, typically departments have it set up the same. So you'll have to get used to your department. Like when I mean that, what I'm referring to is like I'm in the business department. So any business class is typically set up in a similar fashion to where we have an article report or case study. We have discussion boards and we have exams. And then in most of your classes, you will also see this tools link. So that's just a quick reference for you to go to for anything you might need in that class and a lot of our publisher information as well. So that is a quick overview. Marcelli, is there anything that's popped up in the chat that I need to show?
No, I think there's a lot of questions that are not quite about this. There's a little bit more about VA issues, books and materials. So
okay. I stopped sharing my screen.
Did what you were supposed to, and you answered the questions. So I think
great.
Everybody has really been having some really good questions. And if you do have questions or comments, please go ahead and type. That way we can address them. This is now. I am going to do a quick introduction. I'll let you know. I know some of you have, well, you've already met Dr. Reese, and most of you already met Professor Matt Lyles from the math department. But also we have Dr. Stephen Salvato from the science department here, and Professor Peggy Cheney, who's also from the science department. So I'm going to open it up so that if you have any burning questions for the faculty, this is a great opportunity for you to get ready on what you're going to be presenting and not presenting, but what questions you may have for the future. What are some of the things that you need to be prepared for? All of that. Now is a really good time, and we can address it with everybody. I know right now. Let's see. What if you work during the times that your professor wants to meet virtually? That's our first question. So if any of the professors would like to answer that, that'd be great.
I'll jump in first, and if somebody else wants to participate, that's great. We have a couple of different types of courses that we're offering. We have a truly online class, which is set up to where you can do it whenever it works for your schedule, like what you're saying. And then we have this new type of class that we're calling SVL, synchronous virtual learning. And the first word synchronous is a fancy way to say it's at a specific time and we all do it together. Now, different professors will have different technology things that they use. Some people only do during the class period, at the assigned time. Like for me personally, I only give lecture during the lecture time, and that's it. What I'll do is I save my notes from the lecture and upload it. So if you miss class, you can at least go and look at the notes. There are other people who will record their lectures and post those on YouTube or some different things. It depends on the professor. The idea on a synchronous class is that you're coming at the time. If that doesn't work for you, you might consider either trying a different time or at least coordinating with the professor to kind of work out a system that's going to work for you to make sure that you're able to learn the material. I want to stress this kind of like I was trying to stress with the email. Communication with your professor, especially since you can't see them in person, is crucial. That's one of the reasons that email is so important. But communicate early and often. If you have any questions or concerns, reach out to your professors. We're ready to respond.
Yes, I agree with everything Professor Lyle said. Communication is key in business. Communication is key in education. Make sure to understand what your faculty members expect. And remember, each classroom is going to be different. That is another key thing to keep in mind. So if you're communicating with me and you're in my business class, I will have different standards than some of the other faculty members. So for example, what I like to do is if you come to the virtual class, basically you get credit for being there. And if you're not there, then you have to do a makeup assignment. Other people will just say, sorry, you missed that day, make sure to read the book. So it just kind of depends on the instructor. Make sure to always ask each one of them if you're going to have to be absent for any reason if you are in the SVL type courses, the synchronous virtual learning.
Anybody else? In the meantime, I am going to ask the faculty if you would. I'm gonna kind of. How important is the syllabus to you and for your students?
Extremely. Make sure to read it. Make sure to review it. In business classes, you see it the day you log in. So if you have access today, or if it's tomorrow, whenever it is, it's going to remain the same. There are no surprises. You get to see exactly what is expected of you the entire course. Again, that is your roadmap. That is something that you come back to. For example, in my class, I don't know if you noticed, but when I was showing you Blackboard, I have a syllabus quiz. So I ask several questions about the syllabus to make sure that you understand some of the key areas that I've had issues with in the past. Oh, and one more thing, Marceli. There was the question was asked if there is a way to print the syllabus. So depending on the way you have your computer set up, one of the things that most of my students tell me is that it prints in a strange manner, which yes, I understand that. But you can just copy and paste into a Word document. But we also have a PDF version of our syllabi for the entire college. I'll have to go and look for that link, but I'll put it in the chat in just a second.
Yeah, we have a really good question here about office hours. I know Professor Salvato is out there somewhere, and I know Professor Cheney is out there. You guys need to unmute yourselves, because if you're talking, we can't hear you. But could you kind of talk a little bit about how office hours are working right now?
Sure. So my name is Dr. Salvato. I teach chemistry in the science department, and the way that I'm going to be doing office hours is going to be through a Zoom meeting. So I'll have time set up, each week where my students can come in and ask questions. So that's how I'm doing it. But one of the things that I wanted to kind of reemphasize before I came into the meeting this morning, I was thinking of a couple of things that were really very important that I wanted to mention, and they've been reiterated by all of the professors, and that is the syllabus. Not every professor does things the same way. So you want to be very sure that you read that syllabus. I go over the syllabus the first day with my students. Read that syllabus, and if you have any questions at all, ask your professor. Communication, as they said, that is really key because your professor's not going to know if there's an issue if you don't communicate with them. So in terms of office hours, I'm going to be doing Zoom meetings. I know some professors do Collaborate on Blackboard. Ms. Cheney, did you want to add anything?
So we will be doing office hours pretty similar, but it will be in Collaborate. And then also I wanted to make myself available by phone. Sometimes people just want to call and ask a quick question rather than getting onto a live Zoom meeting or Collaborate meeting. So that's our intentions, is just have those hours of the week where we are available, that that we're going to be able to respond in a timely manner. Sometimes if it feels like we're not responding in a timely manner, it's probably because we're in another class. So that's why those are designated office hours. There are times that we're going to be available to answer questions quickly.
Yes, and okay, so we have somebody that has a really good question, and we maybe it's just college lingo, but could somebody kind of break down what syllabus means? Because we at the college were used to saying, oh yeah, everything's in the syllabus. But if you're a brand new student, you may not really fully understand what the syllabus is. So I'm wondering if maybe somebody could break it down. I see Matt has half a finger up.
I'll go with the whole hand. Hey, is there a way that Angela could share her screen again and show syllabus page 2? Because that is really, I think, the most important thing for students. When you're in your Blackboard course, and you'll have access either today or tomorrow if you're already registered. So when you log into Blackboard, you click on your course. When you're in your course, there's a menu on the left. I'm going this way on your screen. I think it's that way. Okay, on the left. And in that menu, one of the links says Syllabus Page 2. So right there where she's hovering, Syllabus Page 2. If you click that, she's a business professor, so this is hers. And if you can slide down there, it starts off about the length of the course. And then this is a roadmap for the entire course. It's going to have due dates. It's going to have what's expected. It's going to have things that you need to know, and you can plan your time accordingly from the beginning of the course. We put these roadmaps out there from the word go so that you know exactly what to expect, so there's never a surprise about a due date. Due dates should never be a surprise. They should always be like, here it's coming. Ideally, the professor communicates with you and reminds you a little bit, hey, by the way, we have something due. Mine are on Sundays. But we have something due this Sunday, so you want to make sure you get that done. This, and this, and they're listed right there on syllabus page 2, usually in pretty good detail. So you might want to print that out. I think that Dr. Reese may have said that there. You want to print that out if that helps you. Whatever it is going to help you to organize that, but that is what tells you what you need to be doing at each moment of the course. I'll let other people share or whatever they wanted to say on that.
Yes, perfect. And the other thing I was just showing, which I'm trying to figure out to get back to it, I apologize. I put this in the chat to show you. If you click on that link that's in the chat, or copy and paste it if it won't let you select it, here is where you can search all CTC syllabi. I also wanted to address some of the questions that were popping up. I don't think have been answered yet. I apologize if they have been. But some people are saying, I don't have my books. The bookstore has back ordered it. One of the things that you need to do is let your instructor know, send them an email, and let them know that you do not have your book, and they'll advise you of what you can do. So, for example, in my classes, we have the free textbook, which you can just click on the link and go to the book. Or we also have the option of giving you free access because of the publisher we work with for a 7-day period. In some courses, we're able to upload PDF chapters of the first, like chapter 1, 2, and 3. So bottom line is you really need to let your instructor know, and then they can tell you if there are options for you for that first week as a workaround until we're able to, or until you're able to get your book.
I am having a few questions here. Let's see, we talked about Eagle Mail, and somebody's asking, how do they get the password for your Eagle Mail? If you're not sure what your password is, you can actually go on the page and it will give you information how to contact one of our IT individuals, and they will help you reset your password if you go on the page. And I think I want to kind of share, because I want to share my screen real quick, because we have a few questions here, and I think that can be resolved if I show my screen really quickly. So we've had a lot of questions as to how to get a hold of non-academic departments like admissions, advising, and so forth. So what you want to do is that you want to contact that department. There's different ways of doing it, but most of those departments are not accepting walk-ins right now. You need to schedule a time to discuss it with them, or you can look and actually, let me show you. Here we go. So this is the admissions page. Here, it's going to tell you all the different ways that you can contact admissions. And most of the departments that are not academic are actually right now, they'll have this button that says live help, and you're able to chat with somebody from that department. So if you have questions with admissions, this is, what you could do. Same thing for veteran services. I know that we had somebody that was asking about veteran services. One of the ways you can actually do that is, see here, you have the live help box, and the same with advising. It depends on academic advising. They have a box here, and it depends if you're if you're in Texas or out. They have different options for the chat, but if you notice, here's all the different ways you can contact advisors depending on what program and where you're located. So this is a lot of information, but I really recommend that you look at the chat option. That might actually be one of the best and easiest ways for you to be able to contact somebody from some of these departments. So I just wanted to throw that out there, because I know that there was a lot of questions about that, different departments, and that was like a quick way to address that. I do hear the talks, and I see that Professor Lyles responded, but self-paced versus line, can you please explain a little bit about that? And somebody.
Yes, sorry. I'm happy to. So as Professor Lyles was saying earlier, we do have several different types of classes. So make sure when you are registering, if you haven't yet, or if you already have, double check to see what you've registered for. So if you see OBL, That's a blended. So that means that you have some time on campus and some time online. If you have an LEC, which Marcelli, correct me if I'm wrong, we don't have any straight lecture courses. Okay.
Not in Texas. Outside of Texas, maybe, but not in Texas.
Okay, thank you. So you won't see that one, but you will see the SVL, which is the online lecture, meaning the one that you would meet online at a certain time. Then we have the traditional online, or OL. When you're searching for those classes, you will see that that means that you have a specific start date, a specific end date, and due dates in between. If you're taking an online class that has the self-paced designation, sometimes I see it as an S, and sometimes I see it as OSL. What that means is that, yes, it is self-paced. It does have a start and an end date. However, we don't recommend that you wait until the very end of the course to do everything. So we'll have suggested due dates along the way. Make sure to try the best you can to follow those suggested due dates so that you're actually learning and engaging in the class and you're able to get feedback from your instructors. So I have some students that wait until the very last day at 11:30 to submit all of their assignments, and they haven't had a chance to get any feedback from me. So if they made the mistake on assignment 1, they made the same mistake on assignments 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So make sure to try to hit those suggested due dates, and make sure you know what type of class you've signed up for. So on syllabus page 2, what Professor Lyles was talking about when I was sharing my screen a moment ago was that it should show you right there start and end date and what type of class it is. And Marcelli, there was a question from the very beginning I don't want to forget about. I promised somebody that I would ask. So kinesiology, do they have any blended, or is it all online? Do you know?
No, they're doing SVL or online. They're not teaching live. The only way to do any kinesiology courses, even the activity ones, is going to be through that one where you meet at a certain time, you see the professor doing the activity, and they're going to modify it in a way that you can do it and they'll be able to see what you're doing. Or there are some, very few, like first aid and a few other things that are completely online. But for the most part, it's going to be SVL. I see some questions here. What happens if in the middle of your class and you're doing SVL, you get bombed or you have some sort of technical issue, which never happens to any of us, right?
Right.
Never.
So one thing that I have personally experienced, because we have done several test runs in the business department, and even Marcelli and I through some of these meetings, you'll have issues, you'll have feedback, you might get kicked out, which I've been kicked out when I was hosting. So it happens. The biggest thing to remember is don't get frustrated. Don't let it frustrate you and you just say you're done for the day. Give it a second. So if your instructor gets kicked out, because we all have internet issues from time to time, we will come back in. So just give it just a second. If you get kicked out and you're in the Blackboard Collaborate session, it typically will put you back in and you don't have to do anything. You just need to give it a little bit of time. But if it says that you've completely been logged out of the session, then you'll just log back in. I would suggest keeping that communication open with your instructor and sending him a note saying, hey, I'm sorry, I was kicked out. I was out for 5 minutes, but if you saw that I wasn't in the class for a certain amount of time, that way your bases are covered.
Yes, I see here.
Can I echo?
Yes.
Hang on. I wanted to reiterate, exactly what Dr. Reese was saying. Like in the math department, we've been doing live streaming since this thing started at spring break. And I was teaching a class in the spring and we had a thunderstorm and my power went out. I was the host and it was gone. And it took 5 minutes for my computer and my router and everything to come back up for me to get online. I popped back in and there was my class waiting for me. Like, we're going to make sure you're okay. And we just popped in and kept on going. So it happens, and you just do the best you can and you go on. It's what you can do. Somebody said something I was going to respond to and I totally forgot what it was. I guess I'll shut up and let you do your thing and I'll remember in a minute.
Okay, look for it. So welding program, somebody's asking, industrial technologies that include building trades, welding, and all of that, most of those are going to be considered blended. There is a portion of that you're going to do online through course sites, and then there's a portion that then you're going to do the lab work in person, because there's no way you're going to learn how to weld without, having a medal in your hand and doing something with it. But I recommend that you watch our, you see, we actually have an industrial technologies professor that's going to be talking this afternoon about how those classes are being taught. So I really recommend that you meet that, that you watch that presentation, and they'll explain a little bit more. If for BA, okay, so I see some people asking about classes with BAH on here. Just so that you know, we actually have some veterans affairs individuals that can help answer. I'm going to ask that I think Cindy and Mr. Morgan put their information again in the chat as to how people can get a hold of them so that you can all get some of those questions answered, because a lot of those questions are very specific to each individual, and I really don't want to, thank you, Cynthia, for putting that up there. So I really want to make sure that that happens. What do I do if some of my classes fall on the same days as my religious days, like Yom Kippur, which is coming up soon? Okay. You need to talk to a professor. If you look in the student handbook, there are some provisions for religious holidays, and you can look in the student handbook and it will explain how to go about it. Now, if it's not a holiday that maybe is well known, you need to talk to your professor about it. Yom Kippur is one that's pretty well known. Just make sure that you talk to your professor and make arrangements that you're going to need to miss a class or something like that. So definitely, I'm trying to see what else I missed. I'm sorry, WebEx kept crashing. I know, I'm so sorry. I hope you guys are still being able to get art and animation. Most classes, I don't know, art and animation may or may not be blended. It actually could be SZL, because a lot of that you can do from home and then just submit it to your professor. So you need to check in WebAdvisor to see, each class could be completely different. So make sure that you're checking in WebAdvisor how you register for what kind of class you registered for. Let's see. For high school transcripts, do you just scan them and send them in? No, you need to have the high school send them to us. They have to be official. Let's see. Am I missing anything? All right, so I think most of this is already answered. I registered for aviation meteorology and it had me moved out, so I had to re-register. It will make me pay for the class twice, or how should I manage the situation? No, usually I don't know what moved out means. Is it mean that you might have to re-register yourself? So, and then pay for it if you had not paid for it before. If you did pay for it before out of pocket, then the money should still be in your account and it should be applied to that class. Okay, so I'm going to take a few minutes and I want to go over the PowerPoint and the rest of the day really quickly. Before we keep going, that way if we have a little bit of extra time, we can still answer more questions, and maybe we'll have some more that are going to come up that we can help with. So, let's see, where's my presentation? Button. Okay, so we're going to be discussing for the rest of the day the pathway workshops. And basically what that means is that we want to make sure that you have the opportunity to meet faculty members that are specific to your either degree programs or that are specific to the career cluster that you're interested in. So let me see here. Why are you? All right, so let's see, are you moving? Okay, so if you are part of and you're interested in any of these degrees, accounting, business, cloud computing, architecture, which I believe somebody mentioned a little while before, culinary arts and hospitality, cybersecurity, we definitely had a few of those in there, information technology, logistics and supply chain management, network system administration, we have some network system administration, office technology, project management or real estate. We will have at 10:30 a presentation that's going to cover this information, and it's going to have faculty members from these areas, and you can ask questions, and they're going to give a presentation, and then you can ask them any questions that might be important to you. So at noon, oh, and I forgot to say, here's the link to that right here if you want to write it down real quick. I'm going to be giving you the times and the links. You should have also gotten an email if you registered for new student orientation. You will have the email with the links as well that you can reference, but you can also write them down if you'd like. At noon, we're going to have healthcare, and that's going to include for certified nurse aide, clinical medical assistant, EMT paramedic, fitness and wellness, histology, massage therapy, medical lab technician, mental health services and social work. And I know that I had somebody talking about social work, so it actually, it's included under healthcare. So I may have lied. Medical office technology, nursing, pharmacy tech, phlebotomy, and veterinary assistance. And that's going to be at noon. STEM. This includes agricultural science, electronics, engineering, industrial control and robotics technology, mathematics, programming and software development, and sciences. And that's going to be at 1:30 this afternoon. Arts, humanities, and media. That's for communications and media, technology, drama. I'm sorry, it's supposed to be communications and media technology. I need to fix that. Drama, graphics and printing, journalism, modern languages, music, social sciences, and visual arts. And that's going to be at 3 p.m. Okay, then we have public service, and that's going to include child development, criminal justice, fire service administration, homeland security and emergency management, kinesiology, paralegal, police academy, and teaching. That's going to be at 4:30. Then we're going to have construction, manufacturing, and transportation. This is going to include automotive technology, all my aviation individuals, computer-aided drafting and design, which a lot of times people just say CAD. Then we also have construction trades. Diesel technology, heating, ventilation, air conditioning and refrigeration technology, truck driving, and welding. For my welders, this is the one you want to go to, and this is going to be at 6:30 p.m. today. So this, really quick for my financial aid individuals, if you have not filled out your FAFSA, this is our code for the college. You should already have it because classes start next week. But if you have not yet done it and you're interested in, make sure that you fill out your FAFSA as soon as possible. Also, we're going to have, if you have VA questions and you need to talk to one of the VA representatives at CTC, we have James Morgan, and I have to add here at some point Cynthia's email as well. They actually work for the Veteran Affairs Office, and they are usually on campus. Right now, as far as I know, they're working from home, but they are definitely very interested in answering all your questions. They have been really instrumental today in answering a lot of those VA questions that you may have in the chat. So please, please, please make sure that you contact them if you have any questions. Academic advising, I showed you a little while ago. But again, there's a lot of ways of getting a hold of them. Today at 10 a.m., there's going to be a presentation, and I'm going to go ahead and, I will type in at 10 right after we're done here. We're going to have somebody from academic advising. They're going to be answering any major questions that you may have. So please feel free to meet with them if you have any like burning questions. Culinary arts, that goes under business. ID cards. To be able to request your ID cards, you actually can email and make an appointment through idcards@ctcd.edu. They are by appointment only at this time. So make sure that you email them and figure out when is a good time for you to come in. Our student services buildings, right now, you must have an appointment to be able to be allowed to enter. Otherwise, you're not allowed to go in there. Let's see. Any other burning questions that I may have missed? We have like 3 minutes. Just so that everybody knows, we are recording these sessions and they will be on Facebook and on the CTC YouTube probably by tomorrow or Monday at the latest. Professor Lyles.
There's been a couple of questions that have come through twice and we've not been able to answer them. One person asked, what if your degree is not listed? I'm not quite sure what they're asking there. The other person asked if we can email that link about registering for the classes too. And that's not true. That's academic advising, I think, isn't it?
For registering for class, yeah, usually.
You just do it through WebAdvisor.
Yeah, you can register most people can register through WebAdvisor. There are some exceptions. For example, if you're active duty Army, then that's a little bit different. But if you have any questions, you are welcome to contact the academic advising, and I can put their webpage. But if you have questions, you can either go to the session that is about to start, or you can contact them directly at through the chat that that is available through their page.
That academic advising link right there for the person who just asked about contacting admissions or registering, those are great. That's a great link right there. They have a live chat. They are there and they're very responsive. They're good.
Yep. For placement testing, you still have to go to an advisor, academic advisor. So either go to the presentation that's starting in a minute, or you can or you can talk directly to an advisor. The advisors will tell you how they have a way of giving you a practice test that is what is being used currently to be able to place you into your developmental courses or college level math and English. All right, we are at 10. I am going to go ahead real quick and include in here my email. If anybody has any questions, you're welcome to contact me. My email is mvargas@ctcd.edu. You're welcome to send me an email if you have any burning questions that you really want to and even if I don't know the answer directly, I will make sure to forward it to somebody that does. All right, so thank you to the faculty. Thank you to everybody participating. I hope that you are able to get a lot of information today. Please join us for the rest of the events today. You'll be able to, like I said, to meet the faculty. You will also get an email after from us where you're going to get a lot more information about what we have discussed and more that you that you should look at for information. Thank you everybody, and I will see you, some of you, a little bit later today. Those of you that will be hosting and having events with me later on today, I'll see you soon. Professor Salvato and I forgot my other professor's name. I just saw her today. But thank you for coming on board and helping answering questions. I really, really appreciate you being here. And we will see you around, whether it be virtually or in person. And have a great day.